Okay, I think we're ready in here now, Michael. If somebody on Zoom can give us a thumbs up that they can hear us.
Yes.
Yes, we are. Okay. It is 6:04 p.m.
Thanks, David.
This regular meeting of the Dunsmuir City Council for April 3rd, 2025. Take the order. Stand flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
We are the Ku Klux.
That happened at a solid waste meeting. Yeah. And then, do you want me to show you how to turn off everybody's video and lock it?
Okay. Yeah, why don't you do that? Let's do that.
You want to go? I want to make it smaller so I can drag it to the screen. Actually,
That one is alpha, probably. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
It is recording, yeah. Yeah.
You did unmute.
You may want to let Siskiyou Media Council know about that too before they upload the meeting to YouTube.
Good call.
so that should keep it down. Not my first
Yeah, it's a thing.
That happened a lot during COVID, so.
All right, with that over, we'll move on to roll call. Everyone want to turn your mics on too.
We got Councilmember Lucchese,
Here.
Councilmember Hubbard,
Present.
Vice Mayor Seabrick,
Here.
Mayor Clarno,
Here.
and Councilmember Bryan is an excused
Yep,
absence.
yep, it is absent. All right, with that today, we do have a special presentation done by Stephen Decatur for Storm Ready Dunsmuir.
Just hold on 1 second. I'll share this. Sorry about that. All right. So this is just going to be a quick presentation about Storm Ready. Dunsmuir is it echoing?
No.
Okay. Dunsmuir is now a Storm Ready community. And so I'm going to just do a quick presentation about what that means and how we got that designation. So the Storm Ready designation is from the National Weather Service office. And so we became Storm Ready through a designation from the National Weather Service Medford, which is our National Weather Service office serving Siskiyou County. So the Storm Ready designation is given out by the National Weather Service to communities that demonstrate proactive emergency planning for hazardous weather operations. And so this designation is something that a lot of communities in the state have, but we're actually the first community in Siskiyou County to get that designation. Siskiyou County, though, is actually a storm-ready county. So Siskiyou County actually has that designation already, but we were the only community in the county to have that designation. So the reason why we did this designation is because we really were meeting all the criteria already. It's a really simple application to submit. A lot of this criteria that we met happened because of our DOPE plan, which we adopted in December. So we meet the 5 emergency operations planning requirements, and we just kind of made sure that we met those when we were doing our DOPE planning to kind of hit those check marks. We have to meet 6 coordination and partnership development requirements, which basically are just kind of becoming a better partner with the National Weather Service Medford, making sure that we get all their notifications, that we're connected to their briefings, that sort of thing, which we were working on already. And then meet 3 community preparedness requirements, and that's kind of around public outreach, education, when it comes to weather and our hazards and threats, which we were pretty much doing already. So we were just really documenting kind of the work that we were already doing, submitted the application. It was really simple. And so now we have a cool sign to present to all of you, and we're going to take a picture. So that's kind of all I have to share about that, but I'm also able to answer any questions if there are questions.
All right, so you want to stand in front?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, everybody.
Three, two, one. Perfect.
Stephen did all the work, so just so you know.
Through the chair, I do have just a couple of quick questions. So with the Storm Ready program, is it similar to the Fire Ready program? Are there any incentives in California for insurance or any type of small term granting programs through that?
No, this program doesn't have any incentives associated with it. It really is just it's really a National Weather Service program to kind of make sure that communities are working towards being a partner and tied in with the weather community, so that way we're more prepared. It's really just kind of around that, and so there are no incentives like Firewise has with insurance.
No, we could probably leverage it though for grant applications though, that we are doing these things. So, but
Yeah.
no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Can you just go over a couple of the community outreach things that were done or are planning on being done in terms of what was necessary for this program, and also what we be doing in the future to point people towards those National Weather Service resources?
Yeah. So we part of it is like having a preparedness event sort of thing, and so with our Firewise meetings that we have regularly and our Green Waste Days, we give out lots of information there about being prepared for wildfires specifically. But there are like preparedness flyers that we have created, and we do have links to the National Weather Service page on our Dunsmuir preparedness page now as well. And so that was kind of a requirement also. And so those are the things that we're doing around preparedness for that. And then we have also, when they are able to have like a storm ready class, we've offered to host one in the future. I'm sorry, not storm ready, storm spotter class in the future. So they have storm spotters, and that's like a volunteer program. And so we've offered to let them use our space to host one in the future. Currently, they're not having those, but if they do have them again, we have, said we would be a good partner with that.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you very much. All right, with that, we'll move on to public comment. This is a time for members of the public to address the city council on any matters of city business. If you do if you do want to address an item that is on the agenda, either under old business or new business, I do ask that you hold your comment until that time, as there will be dedicated public comment for those items. However, if you do have any comments on the consent agenda, now is the time. With that, everyone will have 3 minutes. I'll give a 30-second warning when your time is almost up. We'll do individuals in the room first, followed by Zoom. And with that, I will open to public comment.
Good evening, City Council. Alan Magana, 4116 Pine Street. I come here to follow up on my last request from the March 20th meeting in regards to on-site consumption. I was curious to see if you guys maybe had some follow-up questions or anything in regards to that. I was hoping to see if I can get in contact with the person or the people or the committee that I would need to coordinate with to be able to get the written approval for the on-site consumption per the ordinance that's already built out. And I was hoping that I would be able to have some person or an entity or a committee that I would be able to reference. And per the ordinances that I brought up last time, I was hoping that it being a bridge from the West Hollywood on-site consumption ordinances that were a bridge to Dunsmuir's, if those were deemed by whoever is the approving body that meet the requisites that you guys see forth for an ordinance. If I may, I would like to follow up with that committee person or group to see if I can get that done in a timely manner. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Tim Holt, members of the City Council and staff, I think we all agree that the revitalization of our downtown is a top priority. For starters, we need to get downtown's vacant buildings up and running. But suppose tomorrow you fill all of those buildings with, say, sporting goods retailers or clothing stores. I think those people would sit in their shops most of the day playing video games or solitaire on their computers, with the exception of Alan, I hope. The foot traffic in our downtown is practically non-existent. What we need are attractions to draw people in. Our outdoor festivals do that, but only for a few days every year. Opening up the California Theater would be a huge attraction. To give you an idea, take a look at Reading and the economic impact of the Cascade Theater. According to a study by Americans for the Arts, the Cascade Theater contributes $4.1 million to the region's economy every year and supports 131 full-time jobs in Shasta County. Area restaurants and bars see a 60% increase in business on show days at the theater. And more than 10,000 theater patrons a year stay in the Reading area hotels. City has made a good start with its thorough inspection of the Dunsmuir Hotel recently. Now you need to go across the street to make a thorough inspection of the California Theater to determine what needs to be fixed in there as a first step to getting it back up and running. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Mark Juarez, 5744 Dunsmuir Avenue. I wanted to respond to Tim's comment, who's created or is part of a group called Dunsmuir Live. It's a group full of deception, and they're claiming that they're trying to open the California Theater, yet they're doing meetings. They have never invited me, made me aware of them. And I agree that opening a theater would be beneficial. We've opened it many times and it doesn't draw a lot of people. You need more than just opening the theater. He's comparing it to Reading. It's not a fair comparison. Reading is very, very different from Dunsmuir. We have worked diligently day and night over the last several years, putting together a plan that would actively enhance and bring people to the community, except it's been extremely challenging because of people like Tim Holt, who are constantly causing roadblocks, deception, in other problems? Why, as a community, we can't work together to help each other for the common benefit of everybody, as opposed to someone causing deception? Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to make public comment tonight? If you are online, please go to the reactions tab and raise your hand. Seeing no one, I will close public comment for this evening. And with that, we'll move on to council and staff comments. We do not have a representative from the Sheriff's Department here tonight, so we'll start off with City Manager Reef.
All right, Mayor and Council. We're currently working on tax assessments for properties that are late on their utility billing and other associated payments towards the city. We have sent out notification letters to all of our hangar rentals. We're gonna plan on doing our first annual inspection of the airport hangars. So to ensure that we're in compliance with FAA requirements. Cox and Cox, the excavation in North Dunsmuir area will start beginning Monday. And that'll primarily be in the Needham and Wells area. But we'll have a map by early next week that we'll be able to post of the locations where that work will be done throughout the summer. And as let's see, the Springs project is going out to bid next week. We're conducting tank inspections next week for both the north and the south tank. The water line for the park will be tested tomorrow and should be online by Tuesday. And then the park will reopen once we have that. If we're able to get everything done, the park will reopen on Tuesday regardless. Green Waste Day, we're looking for volunteers. Steven's been working, he's been getting a lot of volunteers. So we have a work day on the 28th. So please reach out to Steven for that. And then on the 3rd is our Green Waste Collection Day up at the ball field parking lot. And then there's Firewise meeting next week, Tuesday. April 25th, the Resource Center and the city were working to provide like a senior resource luncheon at the community center to do more outreach associated with some of our the work that Steven's doing for your, I can't think of the plan right now, is the plan he's working on.
That's the safety element, climate action plan.
Those three.
Yeah.
I should have wrote it
Safety
down.
stuff.
Yeah, safety stuff. Let's see, we're working on the audit and budget. Rail car removal will take place next week. And then the crossing closure will be tomorrow to improve the crossing down in the Shasta Retreat and Cave Avenue crossing. And then I will have an update on the conference I attended last week, Economic Development Conference down in Monterey, and Cosmont and I will present on that next week.
Cool, thank you. All right, Councilmember Lucchese.
I have no comments for today. Oh, besides apologies for the Zoom bomb for those who were exposed to that. That can be jarring if that's your first time, but we will work on some cybersecurity measures for the meeting.
Councilmember Hubbard.
No comments.
Vice Mayor Sebring.
I have no comments this time.
All right, I just have one that I was actually, you stole mine about the retreat being closed. But I do have one that you reminded me of on the note of Stephen looking for volunteers. I believe, yeah, I just got confirmation on that. The volunteer fair is Sunday, April 13th at the community building. It's a place where people who want to volunteer and groups who need volunteers can meet and kind of coordinate who wants to do what. So I don't know if we were planning on having any representation there for that, but.
I believe it's at the high school this year, actually.
Oh, is it at the high school?
Yeah.
And it is from 1 PM to 3 PM, and you are correct, it is at the high school.
Yep.
So,
And I will be there for that.
perfect, awesome. So yeah, if you know anyone who's interested in volunteering or any groups that need volunteers, is that the chamber or Rotary, who's the chamber? Yeah. If you know any groups that need volunteers, have them talk to the chamber so that way they can partake in that event. And if you know anyone who's interested in volunteering, please send them up to the high school on that evening. And with that, that's all I have for tonight. So we'll move on to committee reports. And do we have any committees meeting since last meeting? No. Okay. We'll move on to item number 7, approval of the minutes from the March 20th meeting.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the March 20th, 2025 meeting as presented.
I'll second.
All right, this has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting minutes approved. We'll move on to the consent agenda next, which consists of one item, the check register for March 15th through March 28th of 2025. I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we do not have a public hearing tonight, and we do not have any old business tonight, so we'll move directly on to new business. There are 4 items. We'll start with item A, adopt a project list to improve streets and roads within Dunsmuir utilizing gas tax money.
Present this one? Okay, so every year we receive gas tax money. Yeah, there's a bunch of different, anyway. So only used for streets and roads purposes. We have to approve a list of projects prior to receiving the funds. So this is for next budget year, so 7/1/25 to 6/30/26. The current resolution there, if you look in your packet, has no project specified for this year. But I do have 2 projects from the prior year that we can still use funding for. So really, it's just a time for the public to be involved, to really give their input of what they would like to see. So specifics has to be a street or road purpose. So anything having to do with the roadway, can do some sidewalks and things like that. So it's really just a time for the public to be able to say where they want their funds spent, and council to do that as well.
All right. Any questions? All right. Before we go to public comment, one area I would like to see, and I believe this counts, is just some new, potentially doing some parking lines, cheap project, parking lines, yeah, striping along the street on the Hedge Creek Falls to maintain. So that way, when people are parking on the street up there, it's a little bit more ordered than it is kind of the free for all right now. And with that, though, I will open it up to public comment. So that way, if anyone has any input they would like to give, now is the time. Same rules as before. Yeah, 3 minutes, 30-second warning. And we'll do people in the room first, followed by Zoom.
Dwight Bailey, 5906 Castle Avenue. When we did our water mains, one of the issues is I live at 5906 Castle Avenue. The hill coming down from there, the city wanted to maintain an active part of the old system in that area. As a result, they put in another valve for us to be able to disconnect that. It has created a massive issue. The water does not flow to the storm drains and never has since it's been repaired. It was on the list to be repaired within the 1-year designation for the company that put it in for us. It has not happened. All it needs to do is to be cut, a V cut, so the water goes into that storm drain, which, by the way, is the storm drain that goes down past the old church. That with all that work and all that storm drain and all that work going to effort to have done that is not currently being served by that coming down. I have photos where the ice gets to be about that thick in there. I have slipped a number of times on it myself, even knowing it's there. It also has been creating a problem with the apartments next door that they are currently now subjected to some flooding going on. My house has had a couple little flooding coming on since that time. I have worked with my storm drains to try to get it right. And my overflow, I have my sewer line cleaned out occasionally. In fact, it was done yesterday again. But the idea is that needs to be repaired, or there will be either an accident there or people like myself. This year, for example, I just walked down the street there, lost balance and frailed my arm like that, which has caused me some discomfort for a time. I happen to mention this because I just served on a jury duty wherein 6 years ago at the truck stop, there was a gentleman who fell in that. And I sat through there listening to the arguments for this. It was litigation, it was a civil suit. Our people chose not to refund him. They decided that that facility was safe at that time. But the fact is, it's been known that this has been done for at least 3 years. I would like to see that project maybe included either in this budget or whatever budget it takes prior to a lawsuit coming in. The other thing is that, again, this is I understand, I'm guessing that this is the money we received from the Chevron station for gas taxes being returned to us.
Mhm.
I'm still going to put in a thing that we do not buy gas from there. And the fact is, I would like to see this body replace the money that we were losing because of the tax revenue, rather than next revenue from the other gas station in town that goes to the county. Currently, that is on the agenda where we buy our gas. I'm not insisting on that, but it might be a good idea that if you're avoiding revenue from taxes, that you make an amendment for that. The gas savings may be greater than the tax agreement, but it needs to be dealt with.
Right. There we go. All right. Any other comment on SR1 funding and resolution project list? If you are online, please go to the reactions tab and raise your hand. Seeing nothing more on this item, I will close public comment. Right. And then one thing I would just like to let everyone know, just for their information, is that this particular fund for the city is not all that much. Do you have a rough number of what it was last year, what it's going to be this year?
It's like, yes, 44,681 estimated funds.
So for 44,000 does not go very far when you're trying to do road or street projects. So it's obviously not enough for us to repave a street anywhere or anything like that. But it is good for some small projects or to kind of supplement money we're getting from other sources on a grant or something like that, or project like that. So just so that way, I just wanted to make everyone aware that this is not some large pot of money that we're able to tackle and get large projects done. It's pretty much small, either little improvements or fixes to infrastructure. So, all right, with that, we'll move on to council discussion. All right.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-06 to adopt a project list to receive SB1 funding in fiscal year 2025-2026 by title only.
I'll second.
This does have fiscal impact, so we should do a roll call.
Yes, if you'd like to. Yeah. And those current projects are great council. Beautiful.
Yep.
Council Member Lucchese.
Aye.
Council Member Hubbard.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sebring.
Aye.
Mayor Clarno.
Aye. And then just on that note, I know there are a couple spots like that where water is not flowing properly to the storm drains. We should definitely get those looked at, whether it's with this or with anything else. So.
And just on that note, so this is Special Fund 58. There's
Yep.
also Fund 59. So I just want to throw that out there for all you council people that don't come to the finance committee meeting all the time, which is both gas tax funds.
All right, we'll move on to item number B, or item D. Approve I-5 Sacramento River Lift Station Pump Emergency Repair Budget Amendment.
All right, Mayor and Council. So the I-5 lift station went down. We lost a pump 2 weekends ago. So it'll just be 2 weeks this Saturday. And that is our primary lift station that handles everything north of the 800-foot bridge, all the way up to Caltrans. And we are now currently running on one pump that is with a motor that is past its life cycle, I would say. And so one of the challenges we have in that lift station is that all of our controls and everything are from the 1960s. And so just one of the contactors, the cost to repair was $5,000, plus we would have had to pay for a motor. With this request, we're requesting to do an update to VFDs and for $17,000. And additionally, there will be some additional expenses. As a part of that call out and a part of our emergency protocol, when that lift station does go down, we do call pump trucks and associated items to assist in any efforts that we may need. And so we will have additional call out expenses and other stuff. So therefore, I'm requesting an amendment to our budget to $35,000 from $10,000, of which we only had $6,000 remaining. So just to ensure we can cover all the expenses and the associated improvements. And I'm open to any questions.
Any questions?
No.
No. Is there going to be any looking at the pipe and that kind of system, or that aspect of the system as well? Because that does cross the river, so I know.
Yeah. So this is only just the pump updates.
Okay.
So the motors for the pumps. We do need to look at doing a full upgrade on that. We are in the process of reviewing what that looks like across all of our lift stations, and we have a certain brand of panels that is we can no longer get parts for, and they're out of date. So we're looking at that as a project within the sewer department. But this is specifically just to get us back to where we're comfortable and sleeping at night.
Okay. All right, with that, I'll open up this item to public comment. If you do have comment for this particular item, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Anyone in the room can go first, followed by Zoom. Go to the reactions tab and raise your hand if you'd like to make a comment on Zoom. Seeing no one, I will close public comment on this item.
Do you have a quick follow-up question? Do we know when our next wastewater master plan update is?
I believe we're due soon. I think that's
Next year, maybe?
we're due 218. So our last increase for the 218 for water and sewer are this fall in November. So we'll be doing a 218 in this next budget cycle, as well as I need to look at the timing on the master plan, but there is some of that needs adjustment. I just don't remember the exact time when that one was adopted versus the water one. I do know that we've fully cycled through the whole entire water master plan, but the sewer one, I don't remember the date. I want to say 2018, but
Okay, so we're probably
maybe
due
Dennis,
for that.
if Dennis is online, maybe he can remember that.
Yeah, I'm just, my concern is we do have a fairly old system and it's going to continue to fail, and it's much better to get, improvements and maintenance on the books, and anticipate that as opposed to doing the emergency updates so that we're not in this kind of circumstance. So I'm just curious, maybe that's something we can look into in terms of like the timing of that and when the next master plan update is.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to, if there's nothing else, move that we approve the emergency repairs to the I-5 lift station, and then amend the budget of Fund 27 or 20-7840 to $35,000, with the added thing that I would like to report back to council on the final cost of what it actually, what the actual final cost was.
Sure.
For the project. All right.
I'll second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded.
Councilmember Hubbard,
Aye.
Councilmember Lucchese,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sebring,
Aye.
Mayor Farno.
Aye. Passed. All right, item C, approve public works building site demolition.
All right. Well, we're getting there, finally. It's been a long time coming. So we went out for quote to get some quotes for associated building site demolition at the Public Works site. We reached out to SNL Timber Works and S&W Maintenance. There was some variances in the Timber Works quote, and they have some pretty strong time constraints, and looking at the forecast of weather, that we felt it was best to go with S&W Maintenance for the quote. And then additionally, there is a best asbestos quote attached as well. We worked to try and do that locally, but we only got one quote for that. If the council approves, we will have asbestos removal starting Monday, and the building demolition will start as soon as asbestos is completed. Asbestos should take only 1 day.
Okay, I see in the motions amending general fund budget 01-8250.01 and increasing that to 150,000. That is currently at 100,000, correct? So
50, it's at 50,000.
50,000, okay. You know how much of that, I can't recall from last time we looked at that in the finance committee. Do you remember how much of that has been used up to this point of the originally budgeted 50,000?
There was a little bit used out there, but not much.
Not much, okay.
But I was just trying to make sure we could cover for a couple of these items. The next step in this process, after demolition, we'll have to pay for some fencing associated with the swimming pool. So the goal is to have this demolition completed so we can repair and replace that section of the swimming pool fence that is now a building. And so we wanted to do that before the pool season opened. And then we will do dirt work. Like we have to grind the asphalt and then remove the curb, and then we'll be doing dirt work. So the dirt work we will put out to bid and come back to council with that as well.
Okay, and then I know a couple meetings ago, we authorized some of the responsibilities for the project moving from Pace Engineering to Leo.
Correct.
How has that been going?
Great.
Good. Okay, so
He's
everything's moving
yeah,
forward now.
he's currently, I just met with him this afternoon. He's working with the Pacific Power to bring in all of our plans for the power for the underground and all of that stuff associated there. And then he'll be working to help. We got to move the propane tank once the demolition's complete, and then also he's working through some other minor stuff, and then we'll help with moving forward on the dirt work.
Okay. Any other questions before we move into public comment?
No.
I do just have one quick question based on the packet for clarification. I know it says specifically S&W Maintenance provided the best quote. However, Timberworks quote is lower, but they're missing a building. Is that the reason there's the discrepancy between?
Two things they're missing. So one was they're missing one building, and
Mhm.
additionally there's a $50 lead surcharge fee per ton of debris. And so when you add in the estimated tonnage that they're looking at, then their quote would have ultimately been higher.
Okay.
So there was, and then also they said they could only do the work if it was raining, which based on what we see for the forecast for the next couple of weeks, that they will be busy doing other work that they've already put in their schedule.
Okay. All right, unless there's any other questions on public comment? All right, same rules as before, 3 minutes, 30 seconds, or 3-minute, 30-second warning. Please limit any comments to this particular item. Do members of the public in the room first, followed by those on Zoom. If you would like to make a comment on Zoom, go to the reactions tab and raise your hand. And with that, I'll open this to public comment.
Roy Bailey, 5906 Castle Avenue. I've read the report and I'm curious about one thing. I am a lead-based paint authorized removal person. I no longer have a credential in that, but when we were doing that, lead is cradle to death. So if I was to do a job and have done a job, I bundle everything up. Even the owner of the company is only allowed 25 pounds. So in household use, if I were to do a job, I would box everything up and I basically leave it for the homeowner to get ready. The homeowner takes the ride for the lead, cradle to death. It's not my lead, it is their lead. In reading this contract, I don't see that itemized as there. My question would be, are we going to get rid of the lead or are we paying that contractor to get rid of the lead? Because that impacts his business for not eternity if he goes over that 25 pounds. I've also seen a lot of it in there mentions the tile and the tile floor. Pretty much everybody knows the asbestos content of the 9x9 asbestos 8/1/8 inch tile was pretty hot. Okay. I worked at Shasta College and somebody grabbed a box and actually put in the childcare area, laid a floor with that. And I was told to leave it. I've removed a lot of asbestos tile at Shasta College for 28 years. Everybody wondered why I would only take one tile less than 10 square feet per day, because that's the law. We were not authorized to do the lead, but we were doing it. And the abatement in water, and we would find a tube or something that was bad. We had elastomeric, and I would stand there with the bucket in my hand and let my boss smooth on the material because I'm not authorized to do that. So I don't know the difference between asbestos and lead as far as what asbestos is required. Lead is very nice because it falls within 4 or 5 feet of where you do it. It does not become airborne and goes to whatever building. So I'm just curious as to that. I would want the city to be aware of this so that we don't end up with some lead that we have to get rid of, or if we're paying to get rid of it, that we're not harming that particular business. It may have changed in the last couple of years. I don't know. I doubt it.
Thank you.
Mark Juarez, 5744 Dunsmuir Avenue. I don't know if this helps, but I have a friend that has a company called Encase, and he says he's saved cities, countries, even in homeowners, tremendous amount of money. He has a product that will encase the materials, and it is the safest way of doing it as opposed to trying to remove it. And it can be done at a fraction of the cost. And he's worked in major catastrophes from Japan to America and all over the world with this product with amazing results. If that is of interest, I can get you his contact information.
Thank you. Any other further public comment? Seeing no one, I will close public comment on this item.
I believe the lead is our responsibility and we'll stick with us as well as the asbestos, and that's how that operates.
Okay, so
Under
we
the
have to
contract.
dispose of the.
It's paint, so
Yeah.
there's an additional fee for it, but they do all the documentation, everything at White City, so.
Okay. We have and that cost is built into
Yes.
what we're going in today.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we have a contract with them there anyway, so they have the city already as some members. So.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the quote for demolition of public works site with S&W Maintenance in the amount of $82,387.50, as well as approving the asbestos abatement quote with 18888 for abatement, Inc. for $9,250 and amend the general fund 01-8.
10.
Sorry. General fund budget 10-8250.01, construct new public work shop to $150,000.
I'll second.
All right.
Mayor Clarno,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sebring,
Aye.
Councilmember Hubbard,
Aye.
Councilmember Lucchese.
Aye.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Bailey for informing us, so educating us on that a little bit. That was interesting. So thank you. Where are we now? Item D, consider termination of contract with city attorney
Kenny and
Kenny and Noreen. So just a little history or background on this is in accordance with the RFP schedule that we approved a little while ago. The city attorney contract had not gone out for RFP for quite some time. So it was put out to, and the current city attorney, Kenny and Noreen, did not put in a bid for it. We did receive 3 bids from different law firms, none of which are either firm that we currently use, i.e. the Kenny and Noreen for general law services, or Curtis.
Servium by right.
Servium by right, who we use for code enforcement. So, so for the general legal services, we have 3 proposals. And as part of this process to look at these new proposals and bring one of them on board, the contract with Kenny and Noreen would need to be terminated, as there is a 30-day clause for termination in that contract. So, anything else?
I think you covered it.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
Nope. All right, with that, I will open this item up for public comment. Same rules as every other item. Please limit your comments to this particular item. 3 minutes, 30-second warning. Members of the public first. If you'd like to make a comment on Zoom, please go to the React tab and raise your hand. And I will open this up to public comment.
'5906 Castle Avenue, White Bailey. I would like to find something in this that would actually honor Mr. Kenny and his group for providing service for us for many years. This sounds to me like a firing, but they did not reapply. I have no problem with that, but I would like to see the city thank Mr. Kenny for that, and maybe you can write something into this to help with that.
All right, thank you. All right, any other public comment this evening? Seeing none, I will close public comment.
I will say, we just had a retirement up at the city of Wairika, and they got this really nice plaque with like the state of California and the city seal. I can see how much that was. It was just a really nice token to give to someone. And Kenny and Noreen has been with the city of Dunsmuir for several years now, since 2014 for this contract. I'm not aware if they had a contract before this, but I would agree with reaching out and doing that. One of the things people may not know is John, with the assistance of the League of California Cities and several other entities, took the city of Dunsmuir to the California Supreme Court, which we won. We actually set precedent for 218s. And that's not a small feat to do, especially for a very, very small city. We're essentially on the map for setting fiscal case law, which is kind of impressive. So yeah, so I would like to echo that. I can find the cost of that. And if it's not too much, I'm happy to donate the money for that and get that settled. But yeah, disappointed they did not put in for the new contract, but so I will move to approve the termination process of the contract with Kenny and Noreen. I just want to get their business name correct. So I will make a motion to approve the termination process of the contract with Kenny and Noreen Legal Services and authorize the city manager to send notification on Monday. So the 30 days would start on Monday.
On the 7th.
Just as part of this whole thing, do we have any schedule we should need to coordinate this as well with the hiring process? for the
Yeah,
RFP?
I was going to discuss that in future agenda items.
Perfect. Okay. All right, I'll second. All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Okay. So. Okay, approved. With that, we'll move on to future agenda items.
So outside of the stuff that's on our list, I did want to coordinate with the council to set a date where we could do the interviews for the attorneys. And I received comment back from Mayor Clarno and Councilmember Lucchese, but I hadn't heard from the other three on if they wanted to interview all three applicants or just the two that was recommended by you guys, which was did not include the law firm of Chronic. And so I just kind of wanted to see if we can coordinate something now and schedule that meeting. It would be a closed session meeting to have those discussions and interviews.
I think just because it's not an item on discussion, if you two and then Matthew, if you could email Dustin, if you'd like to do all three or two, that would, I think would be more appropriate than having a discussion without an agendized item. But I am comfortable scheduling the date. And actually I was going to ask if we could do that because my schedule is starting to get really busy. So I know the last time we talked, weekends for you guys are very difficult because of your schedules.
It depends on the weekend, but I will be out of town the 16th to the 23rd.
Okay.
And I think Michael's out of town from the 22nd, right?
22nd.
So-
I will be back I will be in town on the 25th, 26th and 27th would be difficult.
How about next week?
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say the 12th or the 13th.
I could do the 12th or the 13th. I could also do the 14th or wait, no, I cannot do the 12th or the 13th. Those are the
Okay.
only two weekends. Well, what time were we thinking?
It's up to you guys.
Yeah.
It's your interview, no?
I cannot
Correct.
do the 12th or the 13th.
Okay, so we will probably have to do it on a weekday. Is there?
I could do the 26th or the 27th. I have a conference the week before and the week after, but it will be available that weekend.
I just don't want to get too late because if we're
Yeah.
given 30-day notice effective Monday, that gives us till May 7th or May 6th essentially for 30 days. And if we do it on the 26th, we have council meeting on the 1st, so I don't have enough turnaround time to get
Yeah.
an agenda, something agendized.
So weekdays, is there a
Yeah.
particular weekday that
Is
works
there
for?
Thursdays and Fridays. are
Yep,
fine
it works for both of
Like
us.
next Thursday and Friday, neither one of us have anything going on, but
I can do next Thursday or Friday. If we want to get together in the afternoon or morning, I can take that day off from work. Can you do a Thursday or Friday, Michael?
I can do the 11th.
Okay, we'll do Friday, the 11th.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
And
We
then
wanna-
can we confirm with Matthew?
If we do it later in the day, I could probably do the 10th as well. It'd be a stretch, but.
We want to shoot for, well, I'll throw both those dates out to Matthew. I'll give him a call.
Mhm.
And then I'll send an email with notification on what time frame. Are we thinking like 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock?
I
or-
think at this point, with how busy we all are, just let's try and make sure those days work. And then get the attorneys' firms available for those. And
Okay.
then, as I said before, if you two and Matthew can get your preferences for none, all, 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
For interviews, that'd be great.
Yeah, and if not, I could do, or you said you're out the 16th through the.
Yeah, she's out the following week and then.
I'm
You're out
not
the
the
week after.
scheduling issue.
I know.
It's not me.
Isn't that awesome?
It never happens. I'm gone the 15th and the 16th,
And
but I'm
I
just-
may have jury duty the 14th also, so just so you know.
Yeah. So yeah, if we can try and do the 10th afternoon or the 11th.
10th
I
or
think the
11th.
11th sounds the best.
You work on Mondays, correct?
Correct.
So you could not do the 14th?
No.
Okay.
And I'd prefer not to do the 14th. I have to fly to LA the next day in the morning.
Yeah, I also work, so
All right.
busy adults.
Yeah, so check on that and let's see if we can get that scheduled.
Okay, 10, 11.
And then I do have one item I'd like to add to the agenda soon, maybe the next meeting, maybe just soon. And that is, and we've already discussed this a bit, is that just to inform the rest of the council and the public, is that I've been doing a little bit of research in terms of some of the natural beauty we have around us. We'll just say the waterfalls. I know I've talked to a few members of the public. I don't know if anyone has heard. But Dunsmuir and around Dunsmuir is one of actually the highest areas of waterfalls in the entire state. And I struggled finding even other cities that have a waterfall that's located within the city limits, as Hedge Creek is. And I'd like to put an item on the agenda, basically just recognizing Dunsmuir's unique position when it comes to waterfalls. It's just kind of a PR thing, but I'd like to have that on the agenda soon, so.
Okay.
All right, anything else?
Nope, motion to adjourn.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
7 o'clock, look at that.
I know, good. A little bit of a rough start, but.